Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Brand Suicide. This is a bit of a first for the series. This is a Brand Suicide response video. Now this is a response video to my Google Pixel upload. A little over a year ago, I made a Brand Suicide episode about the Pixel when it came out. I was heavily against the entire concept of the Pixel, yet ironically, here is the Pixel 2 in my pocket. You guys made it very clear that I'm a complete fool in the comments. You guys just ripped the ever-loving shit out of me. HTC didn't design the f***ing phone. Google did. Why are you making a rant vid on a phone before it even comes out? It's stupid. Get the phone before you criticize it. I was an iPhone user and I switched to Google and I actually like it slot. The Google Pixel built its name back up even more than Nexus did in its first generation. Do your f***ing research, buddy, you retard. My rant is over. Talking shit about Google stuff, but who's the one posting on a platform by Google? I'd f*** you, TBH. I just wanted to read that one. So, we're gonna go back, and we're gonna look at exactly what I got wrong in that episode, and what I've learned. So let's jump into it. So one of the first points I made was that the phone was going to suck because it was by HTC. First of all, it's built by HTC, and I'd just like to put out there HTC is a bad company. They were fantastic maybe back in like 2011 and 12, and I was actually very wrong. Now, following the release of the Pixel, HTC actually saw a fantastic end of the year. The hardware for the Pixel was awesome, it was buttery, it was smooth, it topped the DxOMark camera ratings, and then they beat that with the HTC U11. With the squeezable frame. It was the first one with the squeezy thing in it. That's kind of neat. And then, shortly after that, Google bought the Pixel team from HTC, so there's a little cash boost. And then they just came out with two new HTC the U11 Life and the U11, I think it was the big one. And they've basically actually made a decent comeback, and I have to owe them credit for that. I mean, it even inspired the squeezing to activate the Google Assistant in the Pixel 2. That's so cool. So I'm sorry, HTC. Please forgive me. On to the next slide. I harped a lot on the design of the Pixel. I really did. The design is so bad. It's so bad. You got this weird thing with the two panels on the back. I don't understand that. I really don't understand that. Like, I guess they said the glass was better for the signal or whatever. If you're gonna put glass on the back, please make the whole back glass, all right? If I'm gonna shatter it, I wanna shatter the whole thing. I originally pointed out that I didn't like the glass panels on the back, and I was actually pretty wrong about that. The glass actually ended up being a very iconic piece of the Pixel, a good way to identify it. It came back with the Pixel 2, a little bit better looking this year, and I don't think I've heard a single review of that thing breaking. After actually going to a store and, you know, checking it out, I thought it looked pretty cool, actually. And it did great for the signal strength and the Wi-Fi performance. I mean, really, if you don't like it, you can just put a case on it. Another thing was that the design overall, I mean, it was Google's first try. When they tend to make a new service, you know, their first foray into something, it doesn't turn out very well, or, you know, it can use some improvement, and that's exactly what that was. It was their first phone designed by themselves. It was a big step forward for Google, and I should have given them a bit more of a chance, especially seeing the Pixel 2 this year, how much improved the design is off of the cues that it takes from last year. It was absolutely necessary, and now it's one of the more beautiful phones I think of this year, honestly. I really like mine. And actually going into Best Buy and handling the phone, I realized that it is really nice in the hand. The Pixel and the Pixel 2 are both very nicely weighted. The design is comfortable to hold. It is a lot nicer design than I originally gave it, than my original thoughts. Was it perfect? No, not at all. The audio experience was awful through both the headphones and that tinny little speaker on the bottom. I think I was completely right about that, and Google pretty much confirmed it considering they brought back front-firing speakers on these phones. So I think I was right about that, but overall it was Google's first phone and they actually listened to feedback and it, you know, created an opportunity for the second phone to be even better. I should have given them a chance. I really should have. Now, the thing I was probably most incorrect about was this part. I said that the Nexus took so long to gain so much ground and that changing it to Pixel was basically going to set them back and it would take all of that time to regain it. And they were just throwing away a legacy of, you know, fans. They're basically taking a brand that was really nice, the Nexus brand that finally got a name, and they're just throwing it in the garbage for this iPhone competitor. They basically just recreated the Nexus brand. Everything about the Nexus brand that kept it from being super successful is back. I was completely off about that. I could not have been more incorrect. I couldn't have been more wrong. Even if you don't know the Pixel name, you can say the Google phone and people know what you're talking about now. They advertised the hell out of it in ways that they never did for Nexus. They had commercials, they had pop-up stores, they had a Snapchat, they made ads for it. They're all over the place. They got great, fantastic reviews from just about every single tech source, which is a big thing for tech. You know, if it does well on YouTube, then it generally affects how well the sales go, because that's where people go to learn about it. Like, Frey even made a life-proof case for the Pixel, which is, like, it never did for Nexus. Almost nobody made cases for Nexus, except, like, smaller companies like Spigen. By the way, Spigen, love you guys. I've had a Spigen on every single phone I own. Another big thing was the made by Google hardware family. Before, you had the Nexus, which was made by some other company, maybe a smartwatch made by something else, but that was it for Google. The past couple years, they have created an entire ecosystem similar to how Apple does it. They have a home speaker, they have a phone, a VR headset like Samsung. They've created a whole ecosystem of products that all go together, and it gives them a name. It's part of something bigger. You know, you can buy into that ecosystem. Their marketing was absolutely different in every way, shape, and form, and I was completely wrong. It did wonders for the Pixel, and it absolutely took off. I get people asking me all the time if I have the Pixel phone now. Like back then when I had my Nexus, it looked like an iPhone, you know, Plus, the way that the camera was centered to the left, and people ask me all the time, do you have an iPhone? I thought you didn't use iPhone. Now I get people asking me, is that the Google phone? Is that the Pixel? Yes. So we're going to talk about the Pixel versus the iPhone, because I kind of harped on Google a lot for this. They're so obsessed with competing with iPhone, yet they're not doing it right. Honestly, I think Google needs to stop trying to compete with iPhone. You can't compete with iPhone. The reason that people buy Android phones is because they don't like iPhones. I'm an Android user, I love Android, but looking at this from this perspective, no one's gonna switch to an Android that's just like an iPhone. There's nothing big to bring you over. You basically are just getting a worse iPhone. Android has its own great qualities that, you know, iOS doesn't. That's why people invest. Stop trying to compete with Apple. I claim that they were directly competing with iPhone, and I wasn't completely wrong. Yes, they created an interchangeable hardware family like Apple does, but what I didn't think about was the fact that they were creating something that would create a perfect, smooth Google experience for someone looking to leave iPhone. The phone's comfortable to use. It's smooth and it's clean, and it's easy to use off the bat. It's a very comfortable transition from iPhone. In my opinion, it is the cleanest Android experience I've ever used. The hardware and software are built for each other. It runs smooth. The battery is absolutely fantastic. I'm getting battery life better than my Nexus 6P with a battery almost 50% smaller. That's pretty good. They even made a transitioning tool where you can take everything off your iPhone and plop it onto your Pixel right off the bat. But it's not an iPhone. It is Android. It is definitely Android. It is the googliest experience I've ever used. It feels like Android. It's powerful. It's great. I think it's a fantastic transition. It sets itself apart, but it's familiar enough to be able to settle into comfortably. And I now find myself recommending the Pixel to anybody who's looking to get a phone. Like off the bat. I absolutely love it, and it definitely is absolutely unique. It is like nothing I've ever used before, and I needed to use it to be able to realize what exactly I was missing, what I was harping on, and it's just incredible. It's absolutely incredible. So in the end, I was completely wrong about the Pixel. I'll own up to it. That's what this video is doing. But I'm actually very glad that I was wrong, because I am so happy with the experience that I have on the Pixel that I bought. And this is so much better than just being stuck with a Nexus for all eternity until a better phone came out, I guess. So you guys can forgive me now. You can stop leaving comments, please. Stop bullying me. I can't sleep at night. I will say though, nothing beats the experience I had on my Nexus 5. This is a very close number 2, but I'm always gonna love you, Nexus 5. So thank you guys for watching that. Tell me what you thought in the comments. Did you feel that way when the Pixel came out? Was your mind changed? Maybe you're the opposite. Maybe you were excited for it and it let you down. Just tell me in the comments. Give me some feedback. Check out some other episodes up here in the card, as well as the end cards that I'll put up in the outro. And that is going to be it for this episode. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.